How's everybody doing today? Fantastic. So, as we know, everything in life is temporary and everything is just a form of an evolution. I wanted to take today and give you guys a few minutes and explain the differences in coffee beans and what that means to when you're roasting them. Both of these beans are bought off of Amazon, and you'll see the difference in sample 1 to sample 2 at the final product. So, sample 1, we're just going to take a handful, place it right there, and then we're going to look at them. As you notice, we have some color difference. The outside of some of those beans look not uniform. Some of them just look a little cruddy, right? So that's sample A. That is from fresh green roasted coffee, and the strain is Brazilian strain. And that is what we get for it. For a 5-pound bag, it costs $42, $38, somewhere in there, and you get that. The other sample that we roast, and this one has actually been my favorite, I get in a 10-pound bag. It's Primo's, and it's the Maricato flavor. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It happens, so same thing. Put some down there, and then we'll look at these. And as we look at these, they just look a little bit better. More uniform. Now you still notice that you have like skins on the outside of the bean right there. That is the chaff that will get roasted off, and we'll set that there. Now if we just do a little comparison side to side, there's a little bit of difference, but there's really not too much difference in there, other than those beans actually are a lot bigger than these beans in size. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they're the same? Does that mean that they'll ultimately be roasting similarly? Does that mean that I can put it on assistant mode and let her run with our precision coffee roaster? That's what we'll find out. The first sample that we're going to roast is the Brazilian, and yeah, let's get that going now. Alright, so what I like to do, the roaster can handle up to 500 grams, but I do 300 grams of the dry bean, but then we do a little bit of prep work to it. Good enough. So now what I'll do, turn that off. We dump the beans out right there, and then we get our roaster ready. I just use power 11 because that's a lighter roast, and then I put it in assistant mode. So we'll have that sitting down there while our roaster is coming up to temperature. Make sure you close everything for it to preheat, and take anything off at the top. This is the roaster we're using. Alright, so now at this point I have a water bottle. I just spray it right next to the electrical panel to prime it. Not even joking, we're an electrician, it doesn't matter, who cares? It was 301 grams. This will take it up between 308 grams and 312 grams if I do it right. Electrical panel, doesn't matter. You know, mix it up. Watch it come in at like 306, and that's what I'm feeling. That's my guess. Hey, perfect. Like I said, between 308 and 312 grams, it's 312 grams. And that is what I actually look forward to. If it's between those numbers, I'm happy, as that's what I've found has yielded the best result. So now we're going to let this come up. I wish I could get a better angle on that. Maybe or a better read. So as you see, our temperature is at 106. It's As you see, our temperature is at 112. Its target is 200. So I'll bring you guys back when it's time to dump them in and put this onto assistant mode. Alright, so we're preheated. So what we're going to do now is just take the door off and dump our coffee beans in. As wet as they are. Bad camera angle, sorry. Put our door on, then we double tap. We'll double tap the power to put it into assistant mode. Now what I want you to do is pay attention to the amount of time it takes to roast these beans on this setting. Remember, this is our first sample, sample A, Brazilian from fresh roast, unroasted green. At the 4-minute mark, our settings changed. Power went down, fan went up by 5%. So here we go. And our temperature's at 140. Now when it gets to around the 7-minute mark, my ADD will kick in and I will stand over here and we will be doing this. And as we're doing that, we're doing two things. I'm constantly checking the color evolution. And then I have this right here in case I find any burnt ones. I can get them out as quick as possible, because that will absolutely ruin the experience of your coffee. Alright, so our drying phase is just about out. It's finally starting to wrinkle up a little bit. So you're going to start developing our actual roast in a minute. And we'll want to start paying attention for the cracking to go on. So now's when you don't really want to walk away. You kind of want to pay attention. Listen for the crack. If you notice, our window has also filled up because the beans are starting to expand as they're drying out. Now we're at first crack, if you can hear it cracking. And now it's time to let our ADD play. We're at 9 minutes and 23 seconds. And we want to get things like that out. That's why we have our pick ready. First crack is just about stopped. I'm just looking for uniformity of bean color, and I'm getting ready to drop it. I think right now. So to drop it, to stop the roast, hold R, that turns it off. Alright, now while that's cooling down, I'm going to keep shaking it. Damn it. I'm going to keep shaking the beans around as it's cooling down and start to empty out my chaff. So we just come over here and make sure that nothing's on fire, because sometimes the chaff will actually be burning if you're collecting it. And then all I do is take my chaff, dump it in there, and then I got to clean that out a little bit. It's a little... I need a brush. So I can put that back in now. Turn, bitch. There we go. Stir up our beans. It's 10 minutes and 23 seconds to roast batch egg. I'll see you guys in a minute. We're going to let that cool down all the way. So right now it's at 136 degrees. I'm going to let that get down to about 70 degrees. So we'll be a while. Go enjoy a nice bong rip. Alright, so as you can see, we're at 44 degrees. Let's turn that off now, and what we're going to do is pull our sample out, put it in our bowl, just like that. Now I'm going to go bag this up as sample A, and then we'll get started on sample B. Alright, so here we have sample A. I forget if it's Brazilian or Colombian. And I'll fucking remember it by the end of it. Sealed up. We're going to let it off gas for 24 hours through here, and then we'll open and compare. Alright, so now we just got to do ultimately the same thing all over again. I'll see you when it's preheated. First things first, 300 grams. Don't get more for even control than that. And then back to the same thing. Pour that out there. Grab our water bottle, spray it right on the electrical panel. And remember, we're aiming for 308 to 312. That should be about right. It's right where you want it at. I mean, I can't give you more of an even control than what we just got. So we will let our roaster come up to temperature, finish preheating, and then at that point I'll bring you back. We're preheated. Same thing. Dump our beans in. So now we're doing a 1-for-1 test on the same setting. The only difference is the bean size, or the bean quality. We're going to let this run through. I think our last one, I don't remember what the timer was, maybe 10:30 or 11:30 or 12:30 or 13:30, somewhere in there. We're going to see how much time this one runs through, and then what the quality of the bean is from sample A to sample B. After they've off-gassed for 24 hours. So I'll bring you guys back when we are getting closer to the crack phase. We're cracking 9 minutes and 30 seconds. I think I'm happy. I like that. So now we're going to turn the roaster off. Get cool. And drop our beans. Just doing the quick for any burnt ones. Let's let it cool down. I'll see you guys at the same temperature. Well, actually, can't forget our chaff. Gotta bag that up. Also, leave that open, and then I take that out and that out while it's cooling to help speed up the cooling process. It's cooled down. Let's take a look at our beans. That makes me happy. We don't need that. I'm gonna bag them up and we'll see you in 24 hours after they're done off-gassing. Alright, so we've been off-gassing now for almost 24 hours. What we're gonna do is take our bag, we're gonna take a sample into here, should have thought about this a little bit better. And sample conveyed. Guess I could just pour it in. And there we go. Alright, now that we're back, we can take a look at both of our samples. You notice they're about roughly the same looking. These look a little bit more even. I don't know what I mean by that. These look better in person than these. These look a little crisp. So now sample B. As you can see, the beans over here are bigger. And actually, as they're laid out here, you can see that they're actually more uniform in color. And over here, like that guy here, here, these are smaller beans. And they actually kind of suck. So one thing I've noticed is the bigger the bean, kind of the better the quality. And also, the bigger the bean, for the way I enjoy my coffee, it seems like it turns out better to add water to it and let that water slow down the roasting cycle. And when I started doing that, it seemed to really improve the flavor of the coffee for me. But and I also thought I was messing up a lot, but in reality I was using a lower quality bean like this. So like you can see how light that is, dark, light. Over here, they're more the same. Let's see if we push them all down in the same field. Yeah, there's a couple light ones and a couple dark ones, but nowhere near the extreme difference in variation. And remember, it's the same weight for them both going in, so in all honesty, they should be a little bit closer. So that's why I like this one more than that one. And yeah, that's what I've learned. At this point in time, I'd like to thank you for your time. That's all we have. It doesn't exist. Much love, stay chubby, and enjoy coffee. Bye.